What's up, you guys? It's your boy Philip Turner here, and today what we're going to shoot into is how therapy can take months or years, yet emotional release can only take hours or even minutes. So maybe you or someone you know has been seeing a therapist or a counselor, and they've been going into an office and getting a lot of intellectual insight around the problem, and maybe they're gaining some sort of understanding about themselves or about their behaviors, but the actual behaviors and changes and results are not translating into a different life or different lifestyle for them or you. And the big thing that happens is what is all happening within this black bag. So when you experience some sort of event in your life where there's an emotional attachment to it, or a belief or a decision that's made that is limiting, that can turn into some sort of baggage that you carry around with you. So let's say you have an experience when you're younger, and let's say you're in school and you speak up, the teacher asks a question and you think you know the answer, and so you speak up, but the answer is wrong. And so all these other kids laugh at you, they kind of maybe make fun of you. It's like, wow, he was so confident about that, but like totally failed. And you feel really diminished inside. Well, that could translate into a decision that it's unsafe for me to speak up. I'm losing status and I'm losing social alliances by simply speaking up. So now what I need to do is I actually need to not use my voice, and I need to not speak up when I'm in a social situation. So that becomes a self-limiting belief. Now you take that self-limiting belief or decision and you put that in this black bag and you close it up, and this gets stored away somewhere in your unconscious mind inside your body. So that way when you're in a social situation and you have an opportunity to speak up, you've already made the decision and have the learning that you're not supposed to speak up because you're going to lose status and you're going to lose social alliances. But the thing is, you're not going to actually gain social alliances. You're not going to gain status unless you speak up. So these are contradictory ideas, because who do we look up to the most? We look up to people who are loud, who are boisterous. We look up to people who are willing to speak up. We look up to people who are willing to challenge authority and challenge ideas and be leaders. But we ourselves diminish that part of ourselves. And so we carry around this black bag as baggage. Okay, so this now becomes baggage or trauma that we carry around, and it becomes self-limiting. So when you go into therapy or you go see a counselor and you go talk about this, they're going to ask you questions that is going to dig this up. And so it was like, okay, well, what is this black bag? How did you come to accumulate this black bag? Okay, well, you gain understanding about how you accumulated the black bag. Cool, now you know how you accumulated the black bag. What's in the bag? Like, what happened what's the story that you've placed inside the bag? Okay, so you can open it up a little bit and we could talk about the content of the bag. We could talk about some of the stories in there. We could talk about some of the emotions that are stored here in this black bag. We can talk about the features of the bag. We can talk about how the stuff that's in the bag has affected different things of our lives. But we don't ever let the bag go. So that is what is preventing the results of the therapy in itself. So there's not really any actual change. You're gaining insight and you're gaining understanding of what's going on inside the bag. You're gaining knowledge that you even have the black bag that you're carrying around to begin with. But unless you have a technique or a process or a tool to let the bag go, you're going to continue to carry around the bag. So you're going to go into social situations and it's going to present you an opportunity to speak up, an opportunity that is going to change the trajectory of your life. If you just speak up, if you just go talk to that person, if you just stop being so anxious and start the business that you want to start, or to quit the job or ask for a promotion, or quit the job and go apply for a higher status job that's going to pay you more money. If you just let the bag go and not carry around this additional weight and these perspectives and these choices and decisions that you've made that are limiting your ability to take action, unless you actually let it go and don't have it anymore, then your behaviors are going to continue to be the same. You're going to go into the situation and the black bag's going to come up and be like, hey, remember all the shit in here that you haven't let go of? Yeah, that's a problem. You can't be doing these actions. You can't be you're not worthy of applying for this high status job. You're not worthy of accepting money. You're not worthy to go talk to that person who you're really interested in, because if you speak up, danger, danger, and the black bag is going to continue to prevent you from actually getting the results. So with therapy, you can go talk all you want about what's going on in here, and you're going to gain a lot of insight. You're going to gain a lot of understanding about yourself, and I think there's value in that. And sometimes, on some level, just gaining the insight and the understanding can be enough for some people to release stuff. That's why psychotherapy ended up being a process that was actually feasible for most people. But the problem is that, like I've talked about this in other videos, is that it just takes too long because you're not doing any proper release work. So like with MER, mental and emotional release, this is a process that in an 8-hour session that you and I were going to do together, in that 8-hour session, we would highlight this. So like, let's say you go and you see a therapist for an hour at a time. Okay, well, you go, you get into state, that takes like 10, 15 minutes, you talk about your week, and then you start to share, you start to open up a little bit. They might ask you some probing questions. There's gonna be some things that are gonna come up, and just about the time that you start making some progress and start making some headway, it's about time to cool down and let the session end. And then now you leave for a week, and then you come back, and now there's like all these other new challenges, and you got to start again. And so it's this really long process of like these things that have to build on themselves. But in an 8-hour session using mental and emotional release, we would just use the whole first 2.5, 3 hours uncovering how you have formed all the black bags that are preventing the results that you want in your life. So if you're not making the money that you want, what sort of values do you have that are preventing you from making the money? What sort of limiting decisions have you made? What sort of negative emotions are you holding on to that are preventing you from progressing your career and making the money that you want to make? So we would uncover what all those are and highlight all those black bags and uncover the root cause of them. And then we would use mental and emotional release to release all of the black bags from the root cause. So you have the very, very first root cause of your anger, your sadness, your fear, your hurt, your guilt. We would elicit all those root causes and the whole chain of events throughout your lifetime, throughout your lifespan that all exists within your timeline. That whole chain of events, we would release it from the root cause, and just like dominoes, from then all the way up to now, all those events and all the negative emotions would release. And then because you release them from your unconscious mind, you would not have access to those emotions any longer. You could think back to that past thing and be like, that was like, it was pretty sad what happened to me there. It was sad. Like I have a memory of being sad about it, but the sadness isn't really affecting me anymore. Like I don't have an aversion to the sadness anymore. I don't have an aversion to the embarrassment anymore, because you've liberated all that energy out of your unconscious mind. And so now your unconscious mind isn't taking those negative events and projecting them onto the future. And now you have a chance to actually be fully present in the moment. And when you're fully present in the moment, you're able to have ideas come up. You're able to just talk and share and not have a fear of embarrassment or a fear of rejection or a fear that was the old black bag, the decision that you are not supposed to speak up because you're going to lose status, you're going to lose social alliances. If you lose social alliances, you get kicked out of the tribe, you can't survive on your own, you're going to die. And that's how the unconscious mind starts to form these beliefs as a protective mechanism, because you want to be safe within a herd, you want to be safe within a tribe. It's there to protect you, and there is unnecessary and unwarranted baggage that you could be carrying around that doesn't really apply to reality. So that's something that's ultimately going to be limiting your results. And that's why therapy can take so long, so many months, so many years, because if you're not doing, uncoupling your hold on this black bag and again, letting it go. And now it's really let go. I dropped it on the floor. It's gone forever. And my unconscious mind doesn't have access to this black bag anymore, because I've had the opportunity to let it go. It's not within my grasp anymore. My perspective on this has changed. I don't have that hold on the negative emotions, the sadness or the fear, and I only have positive events placed in my future. So now I have the opportunity and the room and the energy and the framework and the perspective and all the great perceptions about life and about other people and about myself. I have positive beliefs. I have positive values that are moving me towards my goals. I have positive goals placed in the future. And I have all this framed with my unconscious mind. So my behaviors and my actions all are just like a magnet, always pulling me towards what I want. And I'm able to take positive action towards the things that I want. Therefore, I'm getting positive results in my life. And with most modern therapy, with most counselors, with most clinicians, if they didn't learn some sort of emotional release process that taps into the unconscious mind, that taps into these mechanisms that are all impacting your behavior, so you actually can let it go, then it's going to be really difficult for them to help you actually get results or get results quickly because there's no formal release process being taken. So that is how therapy can take so many years or so many months for someone to get change, or even go many years without even getting any change at all, but they just kind of keep going because that's what we've been conditioned to do. So if this is something that you want to experience for yourself and actually get in touch with that part of yourself that holds on to all the black bags, holds on to all the negative emotions, holds on to all the limiting beliefs and limiting decisions that have been inhibiting you and preventing you from reaching your goals and actually getting real results in life, and you want to experience what it's like to get in touch with that part of your unconscious mind, release a negative emotion from the root cause, so then you have the freedom to act and the freedom to actually get results in a way that your unconscious mind is going to almost pull you like a magnet naturally to your goals, then go ahead and click the link in the bio. There's a free training there, right there, that's going to show you everything you need to know to be dangerous with this process and exactly how to do it. And then you can experience the release of anxiety, which is a future-based fear of something turning out in a way that you don't want, a future-based event. And you can actually pick an event in which you feel anxious about right now and release it from the root cause and get in touch with that part of your unconscious mind in a way that your unconscious mind is not even going to be able to hold on to or generate anxiety about that event any longer. And you can release that totally for free. So click the link in the bio, get in that training, and let me know what you think. And other than that, that is why therapy can take months or years and emotional release takes hours or even minutes. And I'll prove it to you. Click the link in the bio. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.